Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. In this video I want to talk about shining Starforce. I want to give you a lot of tips on the upcoming huge Starforce event that's happening tomorrow. As of uploading this video, shining Starforce is the best Starforce event that happens every year, and by the time you finish this video, I'm very confident that you're going to have a lot more direction on what to Starforce. You're going to know what to do with your money at many different stages in the game, and you're probably going to learn a lot too. Throughout this video, I'm going to show you guys a bunch of different characters that I personally have and what I'm going to do with them as well, including the Burning World character that has Challenger's gear and how I'm going to progress with it, with how much money I have, what I'm going to do with this event, how to maximize my gains. And I'm also going to include a bunch of like what if scenarios, like what if I have this item, what if I have that item, should I settle this star, should I settle that star? I'm going to try my best to cover as many of these as possible so you guys know what to do with your Mesos and you don't lose a lot of your money, because Starforce events are always the point where somebody either quits the game or they get a lot more into the game and continue playing. Because if you're a new player and you don't succeed and you don't get gains or anything, you're gonna get this overwhelming feeling of like, what did I just do everything for, just to get weaker or barely get any gains, right? So I want to give you a lot of advice on Starforcing, how to minimize any sort of losses and everything like that. Of course, if this video is something that is useful to you, or you enjoyed it, or you learned something, definitely be sure to subscribe, pull up to the live stream as well. Both of these things support me a lot, and you could also watch me star live right at reset once the event hits. And of course, join the Discord if you have any questions about anything, and you could get help with whatever you want. So before we talk about anything specifically about MapleStory, I'm going to show you this real quick, and I'm going to explain to you what you are looking at. So this is basically the standard deviation curve. I know it's dumb, but it's very important, and I need to preface this video with this so you get it, because it is very important. Most people, when they Starforce, they're going to hit around the average. The vast majority of people, probably 80% plus of people, are just going to hit around the average, and it's going to be pretty expected. Some people are going to be on the left side of the curve where they get really unlucky, and some people are going to be on the right side of the curve where they get really lucky. Now, what I've noticed is people who claim to be unlucky, they swear they're unlucky, actually aren't unlucky. They just have no understanding of how Starforcing works, how to settle, what to do with their Mesos or anything like that. So they end up shooting themselves in the foot because they bite off more than they could chew. And that's what I'm trying to prevent in this video. I want to remind you guys of all the tools you have at your disposal, when to settle, how Starforcing works, so you don't waste your time, waste your Mesos, and minimize as much loss as possible. At the end of the day, there will still be people who get unlucky. That's just how it is. But there's definitely a lot of people who just don't get gains because they don't know what to do. Another thing I want to show you is the Starforcing calculator, which I will have linked down below as well. This is a very useful tool. Now, the reason why this is a useful tool is because Starforcing has two factors that determine whether or not you're going to succeed or not. You thought I was going to put the factor ad there. The first thing is how many Mesos you have. You need a lot of Mesos to Starforce. The second thing is you need spares. You need multiple copies of an item, because an item can be destroyed and then you'd have to restar it up. So let's say, for example, we're going to do a CRA item, which is level 150. We're star catching like good boys, and we are not safeguarding because we have a lot of spares of these. It's at 0 and we want to get it to 22. Shining Starforce has 5, 10, 15, and 30% at the same time. That's why Shining Starforce is so good. And then we're going to calculate. Now you can see on Shining Starforce, it gives you a lot of very important information. You can see here it says median cost 5.2 bill, average cost 7 bill, boom stats, average booms 4.3, median booms 3. What I've personally noticed is the median cost and the median booms is generally more accurate than the average. Now, why is that? It's because the average has very extreme outliers in it too. People who got super unlucky and people who got super lucky are also factored in the average, but the median is generally what I've seen. So just doing this alone gives you a lot of information. It tells you how many copies of an item you would need, and it tells you how much Meso you should probably save up so that you can get it to whatever desired star you want. But here's the thing though, you can get unlucky, right? You can get unlucky and spend a lot more. So what I usually tell new players to do is to settle. You don't want to always go for 22, even though it's more hype. People are going to egg you on, go for 22, go for 22. It's not always the right play, especially when you don't have a lot of money. Let's just see how much 21 stars cost on an item, right? Press calculate. Boom. We went from around 5.2 to 3 bill Mesos for the median. And now the median booms is 1. It's a very significant decrease. It's not just a 2 bill decrease. It's a percentage decrease. Going from 3 bill to like 5.2 bill is like a 60% increase in Mesos. That's a huge amount more when you think about it like that when it comes to percentages. And and you're only 1 star less, which isn't that much weaker than 22. So the whole point of me showing you this is not only to show you this tool because this tool is really useful, it's also to tell you that you can save a lot of money, a lot of spares, and still gain a ton of damage if you settle and you don't just tunnel vision on trying to get 22. When you're a new player, you shouldn't immediately go for 22. Way too risky. You're gonna end up quitting because you're probably not gonna hit. And even if you do get lucky, in the future, you're not gonna get lucky because it always evens out, and then you're not gonna know how to deal with it because you thought the game is just going to be easy forever. Don't be like this guy wasting his time making his own food. You got to get back to getting gains on MapleStory. If you spend an hour a day making yourself food, you would be missing out on around 4.5 billion Mesos a week and like 200 fragments. That's why I partnered up with Factor to give you guys fresh, never frozen, gourmet meals straight to your door. I've tried it out myself and the food is unironically good and takes only 2 minutes to be ready. My community loves it too. So stop being dumb and wasting all your Mesos and get Factor using my link below to get 50% off your first box and free shipping. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, and thank you Factor for sponsoring, and enjoy the rest of the video. So now that we have all of that out of the way, I want to show you something specific. I want to show you my Blaze Wizard on the Challenger's world. I'm sure there's many people in this exact same position as me. I'm not strong at all. Like, I'm not anything special. I haven't done anything crazy. I'm 15 mil CP. I literally just have the Challenger's gear, basic boss accessory set, event rings, my secondary is epic, and my emblem is legendary. Nothing crazy. Like, I'm just been doing dailies. I have 2 Bill Mesos. I still have my weeklies that I can do on my Sia and my Blaze Wizard. So I'll have maybe 4 Bill Mesos max by the time I get to Shining Starforce tomorrow. So what would I do with that 4 Bill Mesos to maximize gains? A lot of people, what they've been asking me is, should I star my Sia rates 21? Should I replace these? Maybe you got an arcane armor box to drop, because some people got really lucky. Like, maybe they got an armor box to drop. They claimed their glove, which is what you should claim first if you get the armor box, by the way, and maybe they want to replace the Challenger's gear. My advice for pretty much everyone on the Challenger's world is to not focus on replacing the Challenger's gear. It's still way too early. The Challenger's world has only been out for like 2 weeks. In that 2 weeks, how many spares do you realistically have? I have like, what, 3 CRA spares? No arcanes? I could get an Apso, but would that even change anything? The Challenger's gear is really strong. It's 19 starred, has very good flames. Like, these flames are not bad at all. They're actually very good, and you're unlikely to get something better even if you replace it. The only thing that the Challenger world lacks is really glove potential, because it doesn't have crit damage, and weapon potential. So what that leads me to tell you is, if you happen to get lucky, like I did, for example, I managed to get an arcane weapon to drop from my weeklies. I would say it's okay to replace the arcane weapon in particular. 17-star arcane weapon, try and get its legendary, flame it, tier 6 attack or whatever, and it's going to be a pretty decent upgrade. Same with the gloves. If you happen to get an arcane glove to drop, getting its legendary with the crit damage is going to be a pretty decent upgrade. But almost everything else, I wouldn't really replace it one by one. I wouldn't really bother until you can replace everything all at once. That's what I would do, and that's what I'm going to do, because the Challenger's gear is actually really good. So what I've done here is I've actually gathered screenshots of all of the Challenger's world gear, right? This is the gear on my Blaze Wizard. I've gathered what 17-star arcanes look like on my Shade, because it has 17-star arcanes, and it also has 21-star CRA. So this is the exact gear that people are thinking about replacing the Challenger's world gear with, and what you should end up aiming for in the long term. I've been getting this question a lot, a ton. People asking, should I replace the Challenger's gear with 21 CRA? What do I spend my Mesos on right now during Shining Starforce? And I'm going to show you the difference between 17-star arcanes versus the Challenger's gear, 21-star CRA versus the Challenger's gear. So I've added it up. I've added up all the numbers, how much stat you get from each piece, attack, boss, IED, from the CRA ones that get replaced, the arcane ones that get replaced. I have the totals. I have how much you get from arcanes, how much you get from CRA. Long story short, so we don't sit here and just stare at all these numbers all day. The very long story short is, this is with no flames. So this is the comparison with 0 flames at all. Keep that in mind. It's with no flames. This on the left is how much stats you get from the Challenger's gear. Again, this is no flames and no pots. This is just raw stats. This is just like the numbers here, like the raw int plus the Starforce stats. So you get 991 stat, 868 attack, 60 boss, 50 ID. This also includes the set effects, by the way. But if you were to have the Arcane Umbra set and CRA set, you get 1088 stat, 1051 attack, 90 boss, 50 ID. So the Arcane Umbra plus CRA combo, if you were to get 21 CRA plus Arcane Umbra, is obviously stronger. But the good thing about the Challengers World gear is it comes pre-flamed. So with the flames all with it together, you actually end up getting more stat than the Arcane Umbra plus CRA combo, unless you have good flames on those equips as well. But the advantage of the Arcane Umbra and CRA is you can get obviously crit damage on the gloves, and you could get a much stronger weapon potential. But the long story short is there isn't that big of an upgrade between free Challengers gear and 21 CRA with 17 Arcane. Even if you were to hypothetically get super duper lucky and you get 17 star Arcanes and you get 21 star CRA and you're able to replace the Challengers gear right away, you not only have to reflame all of the Arcanes and CRA, and you're probably not going to get flames better than the Challengers gear because the Challengers gear flames are actually really good. You also have to re-potential all of the items, get them all to legendary or at least unique, gloves and weapon to legendary especially, and then pot those too. So it's a huge cost for gains that are not that crazy, especially when there's other items that you could work on right now to get gains that don't even replace the Challengers gear. So it would be more effective gains basically. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully my little yap session there made sense, and I'm not like, you guys are still with me here, right? So basically what I'm saying is use the Challengers gear. There's no rush to replace this gear. Even if you 21 the CRA, even if you get full 17 Arcane set, it is going to be better, but it's not going to be way better. You need to look at your other equips and see what gains you can get elsewhere so it doesn't replace the Challengers gear. For example, the belt and earring are 2 slots that can easily be upgraded, and you could get a lot of gains from them. So for example, if you've been doing your daily bosses like daily Golux, daily Pink Bean, you're going to have probably a bunch of gold clover belts or maybe reinforced belts. And that's what I'm going to be doing, is I'm going to be trying to get one of these belts to 21 stars. And just getting this item to 21 stars is going to be a massive upgrade over the free belt that they give you, right? And not only that, I'm able to transfer it to superior belt eventually when I get one. It's the same with the earrings. Since I have only one reinforced earring, I didn't get really lucky with them. I'm going to try and see how high I could get it. If I could get it to 21, that'd be great. But in reality, I don't have that much money anyways, so I can't do that much. Another thing that you could do to get really good gains is replace the face and eye. If you've been doing Commercy every single day on the Challengers World, you'll probably be able to buy at least one of the Commercy equips, in particular the tattoo, so you could replace this and maybe you could get it to 17 stars. What I'm also going to be doing is replacing my weapon with a 17 star Arcane weapon, just because I happen to get lucky with that. But that's pretty much it. That's all I'm going to be doing. Since the Challengers World hasn't been out for a long time, there's only so much you can do. You can't do much. A lot of progression on this game is time gated. You have to just keep doing dailies, keep doing weeklies over the course of months, then you replace your gear. So I know it's a little confusing. You don't know where to spend your money on. You feel like there's this big Starforce event. I need to get gains now. I don't know what to do. CRA is really like the only thing I could do because you have multiple spares of it. I wouldn't bother. Even just settling, like if you might think, oh, maybe I should just get 17 CRA, use the event to do that for now. There's no point. You can't even wear it anyways. The Challengers gear is going to be better for a very long time. You have until the middle of November to replace this gear. Think about that. That's a long time. You'll get way more CRA pieces by then. There's going to be more Starforce events by then. You'll probably get some Arcanes to drop if you're doing the bosses, obviously. So my advice for people who are in a position like I am on the Challengers World, I would highly advise you to look for gains elsewhere that doesn't replace the Challengers gear. And depending on whether or not you're training, either work on Meso drop gear. If you're not training, you don't need Meso gear. You could just get drop gear so that your dailies are better. You get better resources from your dailies, and try to get better accessories. Like try to work on the Sweetwater tattoo and monocle, or a Twilight mark if you have that. Try to work on reinforced earrings / sup earrings if you get that to drop. Same with the belt. Try working on getting a Meister ring. Increase your accessory crafting so you get Meister rings to replace these gears. Eventually, you'll get enough Golux coins to get the superior gear too. I would use my money if you don't have your secondary at legendary yet, especially if you need like a Princess Snow secondary. Like hold out for that, try to get that to legendary. That'll give you a lot of damage too. But now let's look at a different character. Maybe you're not on the Challengers world and you want advice for a little bit of a different situation. So let's say you've been playing the game for a while now, maybe a few months, 6 months or something like that, maybe since the last big event, and you've been consistent. Similarly to like my shade, I made my shade in November last year. I've been doing dailies on it almost every day, weeklies almost every single week, and I've managed to collect myself a bunch of drops so far. And you want to know what are like the settle points, efficient settle points. I'm just going to go over the items and let you guys know. So for me on this character, can't really star the Connor's Treasure because I don't have any spares, right? Now the reason why I got it to legendary is because you don't transfer any stars to this item. If you transfer stars to an item, its potential decreases. So there's no point of getting an item to legendary unless your star forcing is pretty solid on it. So for example, this earring and this belt are 21, which means their stars are pretty good. And I don't plan on starring them to 22 for a really long time. So that's why I'm still able to get them to legendary. And the reason why I settled 21 on them is because I had a lot of the fodder spares, the items that Starforce into them. I had a lot of those. So I was able to get that to 22 and then settle 21 on this. I would actually recommend for most people when you're transferring stars to actually settle on 20 stars instead of 21 superiors. The reason why is because it actually requires way less spares and you could still get a lot of gains and then you just 22 it in the far future. So that's what I plan on doing with this superior ring, for example. My superior ring here is 17, but I'm going to craft a bunch of Meister rings, get a Meister ring to 21, transfer it, and then leave this at 20 for a while. Slime ring, I have a few spares. Since I only have a couple spares here, I'm probably going to try to get it to 21. If it booms, I'm going to probably settle 19, and then that's it. 19, 21 are very good settle points for most people. That's what I would recommend in the vast majority of cases. You should start by 17 starring your gear across the board. If you have actually like strong gear that's not going to get replaced for a while, you should 17 start across the board first. The next breakpoint you don't want to reach is 19. The reason why you want to go to 19 is because the chance to boom from 17 to 19 is actually really, really low. So you could actually get to 19 with only maybe like one spare with really high odds. But going from 19 to 20, in fact, 17 to 20 is actually really hard. Like it requires much more spares. You can look at this at the calculator as well. So that's why 19 is a really good breaking point. But since I have a bunch of trial marks now, I'm going to try to 22 it, at worst 21 it. Superior pendant, I mean, I have some items that I could fodder into it, so I'm going to try to get it to 20 stars and just settle there. I have this daybreak at 18. I just random tapped it. I wouldn't recommend necessarily like settling 18, either 17 or 19 or 21. Meistering, eventually when you keep doing your weekly bosses, you'll have almost unlimited spares of these, especially if you're farming on your main a lot. So I managed to get mine to 22. And then my arcanes are all at 17. I left them all at 17 for a long time just because you just have to wait for them to drop over a while. And since I have a bunch of these spares, I have at least one of each. I'm going to try to get them all to 19 now. And then if I still have even more spares, I'm going to try to get them to 21. But you'll notice I don't really have that many 22 star items. And the reason for that is because I don't necessarily need them right now. 22 is something that people always tell you to go for, but you don't ever directly go for it unless you are really, really, really like rich in Mesos and you have a ton of spares, which the vast majority of people are not going to be in that position. So you need to learn how to settle, because if you settle, you're going to still get really strong while still minimizing the losses. Now, the next character I want to show you is my Arc. Now, my Arc on my Chronos world, I've pretty much been a daily gamer on him. I haven't been doing too much farming. I have Meso drop gear and everything, but I still haven't been doing too much farming. Now, what would a character like this look like in terms of gear progression? I'm around 21 mil CP, and I've been doing a ton of dailies and a ton of weeklies, as you can see, right? Like I've been stacking up so many belts, so many earrings, trying to get as much as possible. So what's my upgrade path going to be here? I'm probably only going to have around 20 bill by the time Shining Starforce hits. So what am I doing? So for me, I've been waiting for the Superior Golok set. I have 1,500 coins, and I've been doing my dailies on this character for about 2 months every single day. Literally, right? Like for a total of approximately 2 months, I've been doing all of my dailies. So what has that like resulted for me, right? I'm still using a lot of free, easy to obtain gear like event rings, boss accessories, Commercy tattoo, black bean mark. All of this is just from daily bossing. Absolutely Mesos I got from clearing Lomian, CRA. I don't have anything above 17 stars. So what I plan on doing is upgrading my superior belt because I have a lot of spares. I want to try and get it to 21, and then I'm just going to let it sit there for a while. I never managed to get a superior earring drop in all of these dailies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a reinforced earring, hopefully to 21 as well, and I'm just going to equip it. And then whenever I get a sup earring to drop, I'm going to transfer it then, and then settle on the sup earring and just wait until I get more drops. As for my rings, I don't have Meister accessory crafting. I should get it because if I do get Meister accessory crafting, I can not only get a Meister ring that I could star, even to 17 is like good, right? I could also use the Meister rings to transfer to a superior ring, which I could buy from the Golok store and use that instead of these training gear rings. And then I have Akana's treasure and I have slime rings that I could also use as damage gear. When you're in the process of replacing your training gear into damage gear, you want to 17 star all of your damage gear first across the board, then go for stuff. So that way you set up a baseline. You at least have a 17 star baseline set of damage gear, and that will make you significantly stronger. But that's what you want to do. You don't want to replace each item by immediately going for like the 21 star replacement in damage gear. You want to replace it with 17 star first, and then move on to the next item, 17 star replacement, next item, 17 star replacement, and then go for higher stars in the long term. Now I have 2 magic eye patches here. I get it. I got lucky from Damien, right? But to be honest with you, if you are somebody who also happened to get lucky with a pitch drop, whether it's a belt, earring, berserked, or whatever it is, everybody's going to tell you to start 22 and just go for it. I promise you that's actually not a good decision, especially when you're really early into the game, because not only do these items, you have to safeguard them, so it's very expensive. There's so many other items that you can do for way cheaper that'll actually give you more gains than even if you were to 22 star the pitch item. These pitch items, at the end of the day, you have to look at the stats. Just because they're highly revered doesn't mean their stats are like a million times better than the other gear. It's not. At the end of the day, this is a level 160 eye that has good stats on it, right? But it's not so much better than, let's say, a 20 star black bean mark or a 22 star monocle. It's not like a million times better, especially in the early game. In the early game, your money needs to be spent very wisely on things that'll make you as much gains as possible. And starring pitch to 22 when you're very early and you're basically only have Meso drop gear, you don't have any damage gear, is a trap. It is a trap. Some people might disagree with me, but I really do stand by this. Like, you can waste a lot of money on these items and then not even get anything, whereas you could have used that same money on cheaper items and got way more gains. Now the other thing is, I'm still on the Apsos. Am I gonna go 21 star Apso, 20 star Apso? No. I'm just gonna keep waiting for Arcanes to drop and just settle with 17 star Apsos for a very long time if I have to, because I still clear all my bosses every week, C10 and below, and I'm probably gonna clear Black Mage by the end of this month, and hopefully the rest of the gear will drop. I have a 17 star Dom pendant here ready, so I'm just gonna try and use the other one to try and get it to like 21 and see if I could buy a superior pendant and use that to replace it as well. CRA, I'm also gonna try and get it to 21 stars. Hopefully I'm able to. If I'm not, it is what it is. Maybe I'll just settle 19 if I'm trying to save. My goal right now is to try and get strong enough to do Black Mage in a party. Basically, you can clear C10 and below all of these bosses with around 20 to 25 mil CP and just Meso drop gear. You don't need like 50 mil CP or anything crazy. And then my goal next by the end of the event is maybe I could hit somewhere around 40 mil CP and start doing Black Mage, and then I should be in a really good spot at that point. Anyways, I really hope this video helped guide you, give you some sort of direction. I know I kind of just like spat out a lot of information, but I hope you guys like followed along and watched the whole thing. If you watched the whole thing, I want you to say the word Zadaki, which is my IGN on my arc, so I know you watched the whole thing and you followed along and everything and you learned something, because I really don't want you guys to shoot yourself in the foot. All I want is for you guys to get stronger and enjoy this game. That's really all I want, okay? So with that being said, appreciate you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Shout out to my members: Blazefire, Shooms, Shagad, Ravi Espa, Koga, Skittles, Dante Victory, CK, Jay, Kyle, Vampiric X, Fresh and Juicy, Assassin, Henzo, Henrique, and Kelvin. I appreciate you guys so much, and thank you everybody who submitted fan art. You can always submit it in the Discord and it'll be put at the end of every video. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.